Hey Danye, this is Trisha, and I'll be your writing fellow for this round of writing fellows. So first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for sending in your proposal. I was really excited to read it and to see what you were focusing on, since I think conference proposals are just fascinating, and it's always exciting to see what people want to research further. Um, all right, so just a little bit of information on what I did here is, as you can see throughout, there's different highlights, and the key for that is right here at the top. And those are just some of the agenda items that I'll be going through today. Awesome. So I'm going to start by focusing on these green highlights that pertain to your research question. So one thing that I wonder is I would love to see potentially more specificity in that, because part of this assignment is proposing your own research. Since when you're presenting at a conference, you always want to do something that furthers the field, something that hasn't been done before. And I think that's something that's so exciting about this genre in particular, is that you get a chance to explore something. But here you write, I offer new research into examining the substantial benefits that peer writing tutors attain from studying writing tutoring theories. So part of my question is, how are you going to research this? What research would you propose doing? How do you think you can measure that? Are you going to measure that through focusing on a particular tutoring strategy that's been written about, and then apply that within the Writing Center and see, measure it between two different groups, one group that has studied the theory and one that hasn't, or something to that effect. I would love to hear more information about this research that you plan on doing, and I think that pertains to this research question, and I think it could potentially help you specify what exactly you plan on studying and what this presentation will cover based off of that. Another place is, I think answering this question will help you specify things like this, where you mention the existing data on tutoring. And what I thought you were referring to is the existing data that proves that tutors should study past tutoring strategies. So I wonder if you can either clarify that. Is that based off of things that you've read, or based off of the research that you plan on doing, and such. And so I think that all lends itself to my next agenda item, which is in yellow, and I like to think of it as the takeaway. So thinking about, what would you like your audience to get out of this? And you mention come by developing better methods, as well as right down here, this presentation will also allow attendees to shift in the way that we teach this material in the hopes of creating stronger benefits for peer writing tutors. So when you say that, my question is the next steps the better methods of teaching writing tutoring strategies based off of those things that you're reading in class? Is that something that you'll determine out of the research? Or is that something that people will specifically be developing within this presentation? So you do the research based off of tutoring strategies, or rather better ways to teach the tutoring strategies, whichever you decide to focus on, and then how is this going to translate to the presentation itself? Awesome. So moving on to my third agenda item, these pink highlights. So one of the really exciting things that I think about this conference proposal specifically is that it asks you to tie in the spy theme of the conference. and that's one of the things that the conference specifically asks for. And the way that I like to think of this is that, it's one of the ways that the conference can keep everything cohesive, as in they have a tying theme, and it also makes it more exciting. So I would really love to see how you can relate, the main focus of what you're researching and talking about and proposing to this idea of tutors as spies, because I think that's so exciting and could be really fun, and definitely something that someone who's as creative as you could have a lot of fun playing around with. One of the places that they do ask for it is within your title, so I highlighted part of that. And then the other places that I have pink highlights are places that I think you might be able to make a tie between spying and tutoring. Now, these by no means are exclusive places. They're just places that I thought might give you a jumping off point or something to think about. One other place that you can get more information about it is if you go back to the prompt, the IWCA guidelines. If you scroll down here, they have some really great questions pertaining to spies, which I think could provide some inspiration and be helpful in that manner. All right, moving on to my last agenda item, this orange highlight, which pertains to genre. So as you can see, I highlighted this first paragraph. And I know that when we were talking in our last appointment, we talked about how in academic essays we liked starting with a narrative story to pull the reader in. So while I really enjoyed reading this, one thing that I question is if this is the best method for this genre. Since you only have 300 words to utilize within this description section, this chunk is taking a good portion of that away from words that you could be using to further these sources that you're citing and how they relate, and words that could be going to specifying your research question and what you would want the audience to take away. So just something that you might want to think about as you consider the genre and who your audience is. Since this will specifically be for a committee, they might be more interested in hearing about the specifics of your presentation and what you have to back it up. And this could be something that might be really helpful within the presentation itself. All right, so those are my agenda items for today, but I'm really excited to meet with you in person, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Thanks.